What's going on, you popcorn tossing, meme sharing, conspiracy loving, moon bound astronauts? I know it's been a while. Haven't had an open house, and Jesus was showing me around. Sure as hell felt like it, but yeah, I'm feeling better. And recently I jumped on YouTube to see a whole new influx of new faces, right? Geriatrics who love cats, the ape father confirming he needs a mommy makeover, and Lou changing his name yet again. I really want to see Lou's name changed to Lou versus the Death Star. Bro, I don't agree with you most of the time, but your hustle, it's commendable. And apparently Matt Stoner got to witness Dwayne the Cock Johnson firsthand, but I have faith in Trey that that thing isn't for personal use, right? Right? Now here's $1 million idea. Squid Games, Hooker Edition. Now, the market is ranging with a lot of investors simply sitting it out because no one knows what's going to happen between Russia and Ukraine. Now, the most recent news is cyber attack on Ukraine's defense and banking websites. And I can't help but to ask, Joe, Hunter, is that you? Then there's fears that the feds will jump in any second and raise interest rates a bagillion%. Now, I doubt it, but all of this has the major indexes behaving like a toxic relationship that you happened to take out to dinner last night for Valentine's Day, and then you still have blue balls. The boogeyman this year is inflation, but before we get into that, let's consider this. According to Lisa Su, AMD, go AMD, because you had me scared for a second. That dip tested everything in my testicles. But again, according to Lisa Su, the chip shortage won't end in 2022. Demand for chips surged 17% in 2021 from 2019, and median inventory of semiconductor products has fallen from 40 days in 2019 to less than 5 days in 2021, which means you go to Best Buy, you're looking for something, just ain't there. They say, order it on the website, 22 weeks for delivery. And this is important because the world runs on silicon, not silicone, like Trey's dildo. But thanks to chip shortages, industries like the auto industry are seeing runaway pricing. I mean, anyone want to buy a Jeep Wrangler with a Mercedes badge for a cool $250,000 because that's what G-Wagons are going for? Or how about a BMW without power seats for $5,000 over MSRP? I swear, there's a sucker born every day. Now, consumer prices have gotten out of control, yet real hourly earnings, which is basically wage growth minus inflation, fell 1.7% from January 2021 to January 2022. Now, a hawkish Fed, in my opinion, won't curb inflation until supply bottlenecks relieve themselves, bringing balance back to a supply and demand economy, because after all, that's what our economy is. Unfortunately, the wage price spiral will continue, and it's simply the circle of life, okay? Wages go up, creates more demands for goods and services, drives up prices of those goods and services, and eventually circles back to wages. People begin to say, well, hey, I need a raise. The rent's too damn high. This is inflation, and it's a constant cycle. Sure, consumers would love a deflationary period leading to the golden age and prosperity, sort of kind of like in the 90s under the Clinton administration. A lot of happy endings for him, a lot of happy endings for the American public. But when you have wages outpacing rising prices, what tends to happen? Well, companies attempt to protect margins, right? Or one of two things. They protect margins in one or two ways, rather. One, massive layoffs, or two, pass the rising cost of goods and services to the consumer. Again, the circle of life. Now, let's talk AMC because this makes a lot of sense now. AMC received investor commitments for a new $950 million bond deal, and that will help it pay off maturing debt currently, and the new bond will carry an interest rate of about 7.5% and extends the maturity by 4 years all the way out to 2029. So currently at 2022, and that gives us about 7 years, a 7-year runway. AMC fundamentally looking really, really good. Now, I want to drive this point home. Fixed rate mortgage holders are usually winners during inflation. You see, the debt is fixed and you're paying back with devalued dollars. So, whatever debt AMC is accruing, they will pay back at a future date with devalued dollars. Make sense? Now, while inflation will naturally find itself back down to 3%, the Feds warned that we will not see any normalizing of inflation for another 3 years, meaning this gives AMC the opportunity to play the inflation game, increasing the price of tickets and things like popcorn. So, you know what, guys? Let's go ahead and look at the chart. Before we get into the chart, guys, Jim Simmons' Rentec Fund nearly doubled its AMC stake, reinvested in GameStop, and trimmed its Tesla bet last quarter. Now, if you don't know who Rentec is, it's basically one of the biggest and best performing hedge funds in history. And it was founded by Jim Simmons, a former NSA codebreaker and MIT math professor. The quantitative fund trusts algorithms to decide many of its trades, resulting in significant changes to its portfolio each quarter. So essentially, the fund is fighting algo with algo. This makes me absolutely bullish. Now, let's go ahead and look at the chart here. We're going to open up Webull. And what we're looking at is AMC on the 4-hour. Now, why do I like to look at the 4-hour? Well, we have the 1348 and we had the crossover, which happened February 9th. And you could see that price action has steadily made its move upwards, approaching the 200 EMA. As it stands, the 200 EMA sits at about $21. This will act as a point of resistance. Should AMC break this? Well, guys, you know what that means. Boom, boom candles. But let's go ahead and look at it on the 1 minute. And we could see throughout the day, again, we're using the 13 EMA to track price action. And you could see there was a lot of momentum in the morning here or into noon hours. Then we flatlined, which is very, very common for stocks in the lunch hour period. And then here we go. We made a strong move to the upside. Now, we go ahead and we talk about the SPY, how AMC likes to run with the SPY. And you could see it was fairly identical with exception to this dip. Now, we do see overall market sentiment bullish because the conflict in Ukraine and Russia is pulling back their troops. But let's go ahead and go back to AMC here. And what we're seeing, again, we see these crossovers on the 1348. And this is how I keep my conviction in the play. I go ahead and I zoom out to the 4-hour here. And again, what you guys saw was the crossover already happened, making its approach to the 200 EMA. But we're also seeing something awesome happen on the daily. And that is the 13 making its way, converging to the 48 EMA. Now, you guys know I'm very, very pro 1348 EMA. We have over 9,000 members on our Discord who are absolutely making money hand over fist. If you want to join me on Discord via Patreon, I'll include a link down in the description. But guys, inflation, they make it out to be a very scary thing. But I think that as long as AMC just secures its liabilities, they can go ahead and ride this inflation train all the way to profitability. And, look at, we don't know what's going to happen in the future or the near future, but we do know that the Feds are at the very least going to raise interest by 50 basis points March 16th. Again, this bodes well for AMC stock. Another thing that people tend not to talk about is that inflation eventually finds its way into the stock market as well, right? The price of everything goes up. So, I really look forward to that. And again, I am absolutely bullish on AMC, also considering they went ahead and purchased a Cinemark Theater in Chicago, I believe. took over that lease, scheduled to open later in the year. So AMC is definitely taking a very aggressive and offensive approach to the shorts. AMC closing up nearly 10% at $19.48, up $1.72. There's really not much more you can ask for, guys. This is Gabe with the Review Dork. I'm signing out. Peace.